Welcome! In today's video, I will be doing a detailed unboxing of Mark H. Walker's Platoon Commander Deluxe, The Battle of Kursk, designed by David K. Van Hoose. This is a two-player World War II platoon-level hex encounter game. This game plays out what many historians believe was the turning point of World War II, the Battle of Kursk. The Battle of Kursk was also the largest tank engagement of World War II and ended the myth of German invincibility. This system, the Platoon Commander Deluxe system designed by Mark H. Walker, is used by some of our other games, such as The Long Road, and also some games from our sister company, Tiny Battle Publishing. These games include Sticks and Stones, Korea 1950, the India-Pakistan War 1965, and also Poland Strikes. Right now in the store, the Battle of Kursk is for sale, 20% off, so grab it while we still have the sale going on. In addition to the base game, we have a lot of other cool products to go along with Kursk. We have a neoprene mouse pad, we have some action cards, we have the really helpful strategy guide, and we have the expansion for the Battle of Kursk, Tracks in the Mud. Tracks in the Mud adds in new tanks, a new map, some new scenarios that include historical events, and then also the what-if scenario Patton suggested that might happen between the Americans and the Soviets. So these are great additional products to this awesome base game. Thanks again for tuning in and watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All those products I just mentioned, I'm going to link in the description below, so feel free to check those out in our new website. Let's go ahead and talk about what you get in the box. So here's a quick overview. In addition to getting this gorgeous box with the super cool art, you will get 2 mounted thick maps that are 17 by 22 inches, 4 sheets of thick counters. These counters are 1-inch counters, so they're very, they hold a lot of information, but they're not cluttered, and they hold a lot of beautiful art, as you expect from all Flying Pig Games products. You get 2 player aid cards. You get a rule book that is surprisingly concise. I was even surprised to see that there's really only 9 pages of rules, maybe a little bit less than that. And then it goes straight into all the scenarios. So it's a really great game to pick up, learn, and get to your table really quick and be playing it and enjoying it. You also get 6 10-sided dice. This game is mostly dice driven, but it is also card assisted. And there's like I said, a beautiful box to put all this stuff in. Let's go ahead and get started with the counters. Like I said, you get 4 sheets, super thick counters. I'm also going to include some really good close-up shots of this, but let's go ahead and talk about them. Here are some of the vehicles and some of the admin markers that you will need. We go for the Soviets. The cool thing about these counters is that they are really clutterless and they're large so that you get all this detail. It's really surprising the detail that you get on the counters, which makes it that much more immersive. So like I said, these counters are clutterless, and one of the ways we keep the clutter down is by using color for the weapon's range. You might be familiar with this if you played The Long Road. So for example, for a weapon's range on an armored vehicle, if it is printed on gold, that means that they're going to be able to fire from 4 hexes away. And by doing this, you reduce the number of numbers that are on the counter, and it reduces that clutter, and it's a really great feature of the Platoon Commander Deluxe series. So like I said before, I like to do detailed unboxings. So let's go ahead and talk about what the information on the counters mean. Starting with infantry, if you look at the bottom right corner, that is going to be the HEF for the infantry. The middle is going to be the movement factor. It is also a leg unit. You can see that from the picture that it is infantry and it is person. Moving on to vehicles. The top right or the top left is going to be the APF, and then the color is going to be the range. Bottom left, like I said, is HEF. The middle is going to be movement, and then if it has that kind of explosion looking color like you see in this image with the blue, it means that it can move and fire. The bottom right corner is the CAF, and then the top right is going to be armor. So on the player aid card, there's more information about the counters. If you see a font in the top left that is black, that means that range effects do apply. They go into more detail about the move and fire in the middle of the counter. Orange is a 1-column shift, and then blue is a 2-column shift. The white firepower font, so moving on to the next image, means that range effects do not apply and normal range is their maximum range. The white box frame in the bottom left of these counters, it means they cannot fire into an adjacent hex. So there's a lot of information that you get on these big counters, and that just reduces you having to the number of times that you have to refer back to the rulebook or to the PAC. Let's move on to the rulebook. So like I said, it is surprisingly concise. There's only 9 pages of rules, and they are really to the point. As I was reading through this, I was just really surprised at how quick and easy it is to learn. In the back of the rulebook, there are 12 scenarios. This is a full color rulebook. And like I said, it's a really concise rulebook. I'm going to play some images for you guys to look through so that you can see what I'm talking about. So before we move on with the rest of the items in the box, I want to bring to your attention the Battle of Kursk strategy guide, which is a really great extra feature that you can get available in our store. Like I said, I've linked it in the description below. The strategy guide is awesome. It includes more information about the history of the event itself and the Battle of Kursk. It gives a lot of examples of play, and it goes into more depth about the cards and the units themselves. And it's a really great tool to read as you're learning and playing through this game, the Battle of Kursk. All right, so the Battle of Kursk is going to come with 2 geomorphic board maps. They are mounted. They are awesome. I love all the different shades and textures of the terrain available. Here's one of the maps. One of the nice things of having multiple maps that come together in a game like this is being able to create more space for you to play these games. I love the gigantic map boards like we have in a Most Fearful Sacrifice or Old School Tactical, but it really does take a big table to do that. And if you are somebody like me who has lived in small apartments and had very small space to play these games, it can be kind of difficult to do that. So that is one of the features of these games that I like, where you have the smaller geomorphic boards and you're just using maybe 1 or 2 of them for a scenario at a time. I think it's a really great space saver in that regard. Like I said, in Tracks in the Mud, if you were to purchase this expansion, it does come with a 3rd map for that game. The terrain on these maps include open terrain, roads, rolling hills, forests, towns, cities, hills, cultivated areas, streams, ponds. And then in addition, there are wrecks and dug-ins, which are actual, as you probably know, counters that are going to go on the map and affect the terrain. As mentioned before, the game does come with 6 10-sided die. This is going to be used for the majority of the game, definitely all for combat. In addition, the game comes with these awesome cards. I really do love the art for this game. These are action cards that you use. So, for example, here is one. And the top is going to be for the Soviets and the bottom would be for the Germans. This one says for the Soviets, Niet. It negates any last German card played, must be played immediately after card is played. For the Germans, we have play after an AFV platoon fires, you may fire the same platoon again. And on the side, it tells you what stage of play you would play this. So on the Soviets, you have anytime. It's just really a Niet card. You can play it at any time. And then in the Germans, you have, this has to be during the fire and the movement phases. So you couldn't play it at other times. Real quickly, the sequence of play for the Battle of Kursk is going to be determining initiative, drawing action cards. So this would be when you draw these cards that I'm talking about. Then the rally phase, the fire phase, the movement phase, the close assault phase, housekeeping, aid and focus phase, and advanced turn. And then you advance the turn marker. So that's when the action cards are drawn in the sequence of play. So the game does come with 2 player aid cards, one of which is the turn record tracker, and also that sequence of play that I was talking about, and then a space for you to put the counter with the corresponding faction that has initiative. The other card has the terrain effects chart, and also some helpful rules at the bottom of that card. And then on the back, this is really what you're going to be using the most, which is the fire results table at the top. The range color explanation chart, which is great. You'll recognize that from, all of this is going to look familiar if you've played the long road. And then at the bottom, you have the close assault table. Let's discuss real quickly what are some things that makes the Battle of Kursk stand out from other tactical games. One of which is the way that play is done through phasing. Through the movement phase, everybody moves all their units if they want to at the same time, but then fire is phased and alternated between players. In addition, it is very flanking friendly. So when you're doing close assault combat, you attack from adjacent hexes, and that helps you be able to attack with more units and get the advantage that you need to control different strategic locations. So in this game, range combat is not just determined by a target's armor factor and terrain. That does determine the column that you'll be rolling dice on, but the target's morale is also taken into account, which just adds another element of realism to the game. Another unique aspect to this game is that artillery is all card driven. No one actually knows what the other player has because these cards are random and then also kept secret. So you don't know what kind of artillery the other side has until they play an artillery card. So as I mentioned before, the Platoon Commander Deluxe series is not card driven, but it is card assisted. And this is one of the things that makes it a really unique system, which are the action cards. These action cards, like I mentioned before, control artillery. They help rally units. They add this really great element of surprise and chaos to the game that you would not get otherwise. Lastly, you have the focus and the aid markers. This enables players to focus their attention on a certain area of the map. You can provide additional bonuses to combat or also provide aid to disrupted units. Thanks for watching this unboxing of Mark H. Walker's Platoon Commander Deluxe, the Battle of Kursk, designed by David K. Van Hoose. Like I said, this game is for sale for 20% off in the store right now, and there are a lot of other additional products that I've linked in the description below that you can pick up now. Thanks again for liking and subscribing and commenting. It's been really fun interacting with everybody, so please don't stop. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks.